What's going on, guys? Today I want to talk about how easy it is to make websites and go high level. Boom. Let's get into it. What's going on, guys? Welcome to this video. Super excited. Been playing around with Go High Level, and I'm going to take that certification. It's kind of exciting. And, well, let me tell you why I'm excited about it. Because it can do all the things, wonderful things for marketing. And if you're, really good at a skill, and you don't want to deal with having to build a website or all this follow-up email stuff, that's what I've been digging into. So let me just kind of explain to you how easy it is to create a website. Now, Go High Level is a paid service, and I'm actually part of Go High Level through somebody else's paid service, which I'll probably be just getting my own, and then making all these different templates for people to use so that you can just get the Go High Level software and then click a button, and you'll be able to have, access to so many different things like follow-up emails, marketing emails, client contracts, and things of that nature. And now I'm on my learning journey of what it's like to build a website, because when I built a website, I built it in WordPress, and there was a lot of trials and tribulations and learning how all these plugins work. And yet if you build a website within Go High Level, it has all the information for all your leads, and then it'll just do work, right? So the way I have it now is I have WordPress, and then I had to get all these different, plugins to get things to work. And when people put their information in, that was a different widget. And then, getting the content on the website was a little bit of a challenge. And then there was something else I didn't understand either. Like, if you put a lot of video on your website, it doesn't really like that. And I was using YouTube links, and then I had some hosted videos. And the more you weigh down your site, the more Google will, minus your points, and then you won't rank higher on the SEO search. Now, this is important to understand, because you want your best foot forward. And if someone's looking for your service, it's easier for Google to give a lead a website that's more optimized than it is to give them someone who's less optimized. And if your website is, taking up a lot of space on a server, it's going to be harder to load. And you also got to think about people that may not have, good, cellular reception. And then, if they're not using, fiber, maybe they just got a, regular cable internet or something lower than that. And you want to make sure that you're accessible to, everybody. So optimizing your website is pretty easy. Optimizing your website is pretty important. So when I was playing around with Go High Level, I was like, it does all that so simply. Like, it's so simply, so easy, so unbelievably easy. All right, so I'm in Go High Level, and basically, well, my coach calls it Rainmaker AI. Yeah, it is built off of Go High Level, and it's a complete marketing, social, poster, CRM, email sequences, all that stuff, right? So many different things. I haven't completely wanted to jump ship from DJ Event Planner and go into Go High Level, because there's a few things that have to do with event planning that DJ Event Planner is pretty solid on. Yet you could still use this for basically everything else other than that. Yet if you wanted to create a new website, let's get into that. So basically, if you're looking for something just to get up, like let's say you're just starting out and you're like, man, I got to have something up quick, you could just go to the templates section over here. And then, depending on what your business is, it has so many different, templates to choose from. So I think I just typed in party, right? And it gave me a template. And I was playing around with this one. I ended up deleting it so I could remake the video. But it'll take, the template from there and then load it into the system, and then you're able to edit it. And there's a bunch of other templates to use. And once again, if you have everything built from one source, then it can do more things. Not that you can't link it to a website, because that's what it's linked to now. My coach Scott King, it's linked to there, but I didn't come across Go High Level or Rainmaker AI until after I'd already created that website, because that's what I thought you needed to do. And then we live in a world that's forever changing, so it's always better to find something that's more efficient. It should be there, event coordinator, which is kind of exciting. I'll put my head back over here. So these are the 3 pages that it populated from a template, and then I'll show you how easy it is to go ahead and mess around with it, because that's what I was doing before I made this video. I was like, how easy is it to change things? And now you start to look over here, a website's already created. All you have to do now is put in your information, and if you don't have testimonials, you can just delete that part, or frequently asked questions, you can just change the information that's in here. But if we'll start from the top, right? So the first thing I did, I was like, how easy is it to change a logo type thing? Boom, boom. All right, so logo brand right there. And then I was like, I already have a bunch of stuff loaded into mine, so I could just type in logo and then insert it, and then you can see it's right there, which is kind of cool. And then it'll ask me, global section, do you want me to, everywhere you replace the logo, you have made changes to the global section which can affect other pages. Are you sure you want to change this page? Yes. Marvelous. And it does the SEO, OPP, does it all for you. So again, I like the color orange. So professional planning, we'll just do my DJ company. So professional DJs for your next event. Boom. Little exclamation point right there. And then when you click on this square, basically anywhere you see that image is where images are. And I had uploaded this earlier, just found an image. And then bam, here we are. And then I don't like the color purple, right? So let's go ahead and change that to blue, because my DJ company is mostly based around blue. And then if you had other images that were blue, you could just change that like so. Boom, now we got blue. Learn more. Sweet. And then of course, wedding party, birthday party, we could, I don't know, corporate events, and then you just type in your own information here. And again, I use Project Shepherd, which is something that my coach had basically built with a programmer to write copy the way that he writes it. His name's Frank Kern, and he's one of the originators of online sales, and writing copy is what he geeks out on. So he created his own AI to sell like he does, so he doesn't have to come up with the same thing every single time he has a new client. So he could just take the information that he gets from one of his clients that may have not that great copy, put it into his AI. Again, he created it. It's quite expensive. It's like $40 a month just to have his AI, and he's thinking about raising the price because it does something where ChatGPT will just, it's called trunking, where it won't read every single word. This one reads every single word to get the most value out of whatever the content is, and then having the right prompts. And then I could talk to it. So we're getting ready to change some of the copy on a template website. So I'll just be giving you some information that works with what we're working on. And you could basically just talk to the AI, and then boom, now that's working on that, right? So we can go over here, say I don't like this image, and then we can just replace that out. Again, you go over here to where that is, and then I already loaded an image, and it'll just say, ooh, there's a wedding. And you wouldn't want to change. We are the best event planner and organizer in town. I don't know about all that. That's a pretty strong claim, right? So I'll go over here and say, here's a title from the template that I don't quite like. In fact, we're a DJ company, and this title says we're the best event coordinator in town. Can you come up with something that's better than saying that we're the best? More like, and make it compelling, right? So again, we're just talking to it, and then I put it in brackets, whatever it is, so it can mimic it, right? Kind of cool. So it's going to give me another title. Your event into an unforgettable experience with our premium DJ service. All right. Well, maybe I don't like the word premium, right? Can we take out the word premium, make it a little shorter and catchy? Yeah, it's all about talking to the AI these days. See what it does. Let's see what it does. Creating unforgettable events through music. All right, we'll just go for that for now. And then we just copy and paste. creating unforgettable events through music. And let's say DJ lights, and I do photo booths. And maybe you have a different service. Boom. And then again, I'm going back to my blues. Going to the blues, going to the blues. It's italicized, so we're still going to make it blue. Oh, maybe a darker blue. Boom. So you can see it, kind of thing. And then again, you would just go through this whole website and then create it with your information. If you had ChatGPT, you could use that as well. And again, if you didn't like the colors, like you just go ahead and change the colors. And then bam, we got a website here. If you don't have testimonials, you would just delete these boxes, right? Or you could, get some past clients to go ahead and give you reviews. And of course, there's frequently asked questions. And then when you have a Go Highlevel account, it has all the information in here, right? So these are called tags. So it'll read through your Go Highlevel information, and then go ahead and it'll populate whatever your business information is, which is kind of important. And then of course, again, if you wanted to change the logo, right, I already have it loaded in here, which you can host all the stuff for you. See, now we have Coach Got King, and then anyway, with the DJ company and the coaching business, right? So but these tags right here, I'm going to go ahead and delete them. Well, I'll delete these. Boom. And let's say I want to make this blue again, which is a pretty easy fix. And then if you didn't like this layout, you could always change it. But anyway, I took out those tags. You can always put them back. It's pretty easy to do. In fact, you can even see what it looks like, on a phone. Kind of exciting. And all this is done in seconds, and all you have to do is change out the information that's already there. So if I go back to here and then show you what the site looks like, you could change these images and stuff, and then bam, now you get a website. It tells you what it is. You got some images over here, and then let's say they go to the contact us page, right? They can you'll have to put a form here, and then now you have their information. They could put them into your workflows. So there you have it. Kind of exciting times. If you want to learn more, make sure to visit the website www.coachscottking.com. Come join the Facebook group, and we'll see you in the next one.